Welcome to Sunday Edition. I'm Dennis Woltering. As oil continues spewing from a broken wellhead at the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico seabed, what are we learning about the environmental dangers? More than 2 weeks after the rig explosion, how are fishermen whose livelihoods are in jeopardy coping? Plus, as people consider legal action to protect their interests and pay their bills, what should they know about the law and the attorneys seeking to represent them? First, the issue of safety for fishermen helping BP and federal authorities with the cleanup. The United Commercial Fishermen's Association has gone to court in an effort to force British Petroleum to take responsibility for the safety of those helping with the cleanup in the face of exposure to hazardous chemicals. Joining us now to tell us about that and to talk about the impact of all of this on the fishing industry, the president of the United Commercial Fishermen's Association, George Barisich, and attorney Stuart Smith. Thank you both for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
First of all, George, tell us about the impact so far. I mean, we're more than 2.5 weeks into this. How are fishermen coping?
When we first saw it, luckily the wind was out the northwest, and we had time. We said, "Look, this is going to come. Let's get motivated. Let's get going." We didn't get that what we wanted. As soon as it come out the southeast, the imminent fear was there. As soon as the southeast wind started blowing it, the initial loss right there is the larvae that's coming through that oil, that mess that's out there. We already have a 2.5-week season that's late because of the cold winter. So the timing is bad on this particular situation. So we're going to lose that crop of larvae that's coming through there. They're real delicate. They're not going to make it initially. The further it comes in, the more we're going to lose. If it gets on top of our oyster beds, even if it don't kill them, if it just pollutes them, we're not going to be able to sell them. It just grows and grows. It's a never-ending nightmare. Fishermen
east of the Mississippi are already, they can't work, right?
Yeah, everything was closed. Luckily, the wildlife fisheries opened a little quick shrimp season for us, but Mother Nature didn't work with us, so we didn't get to utilize it. You know.
And we have been hearing that some fishermen have been having trouble paying bills. I mean, they don't have an income at this point. You know?
Unfortunately, we're coming at the backs of Katrina, the backs of Gustav, and backs of one of the worst shrimp seasons last year, money-wise. Right. Not shrimp, money, because we couldn't make any money. And then the backs of a bad oyster season, a poor oyster season. So everybody's looking forward to making some money in the shrimp. That's not happening. So everybody's got their backs against the wall right now. Understand this.
Now, British Petroleum is scrambling to stop this oil leak, but right now the oil continues spewing out. What's the prospect in your mind?
That's the major fear we always had. You can't even begin to estimate how much you're going to lose, how long it's going to impact you, until they stop it. And then we don't know exactly what's coming up, because right now they're suspending a lot of it, they're dropping a lot of it back in the water column. Who's going to know when that's going to happen? It's mind-boggling, the volume, until they stop it.
Now, Stuart, you've gone to court twice now, at least, against British Petroleum on this. Tell us what you've done.
Well, in representing the United Commercial Fishermen's Association, we immediately were notified last Saturday that BP had began putting out contractual papers for those that wanted to respond to the spill, make some money to put food on their children's table and their families' tables, and they had no other option but to go to work for the company that has just destroyed their livelihood. So we got a copy of this contract, and we were just, frankly, it was unbelievable. I mean, the contract had all kind of extremely onerous provisions requiring the responders to indemnify BP for damages. It had confidentiality agreements in it where the responders couldn't talk to their own lawyers, the press, or anybody else about what they saw or what they did out there. All kind of real problems with that. So when we found out about that Saturday night, a lot of us stayed up all night long, and we proceeded to federal court. We called the clerk of federal court on the phone and asked her to come and receive the papers. Technically, the courthouses are never really closed, technically. And so the clerk came to the federal court Sunday afternoon and last Sunday, received the papers, and then the federal judge came down and met the parties at the courthouse. And she felt that they were provisions that were seriously overbroad, and she told BP that they needed to enter into a consent judgment to nullify the offending provisions, which they ultimately did. Another good thing was we originally filed only on behalf of the fishermen, but BP ultimately agreed after we told them we'll simply just sue you again. They agreed that it applies to everybody in the entire United States that signs a contract with BP.
So what does this mean in terms of a contractual obligation on behalf of those who are helping BP with the cleanup?
Well, it means that those specific provisions, which are extremely onerous, are unenforceable and stricken from the contract. Then we did more research and we realized that there were contractual provisions that put the burden on the shrimpers and the others responding to comply with federal hazardous materials laws and OSHA laws. Our shrimpers don't know anything about hazardous materials laws. Ridiculous. So we again immediately filed this morning a suit to have the court order BP to be completely responsible for this, and that they could not delegate their obligations to our fishermen.